A guy is lying on his bed in the next clip, breathing heavily as he films himself and explains he's been hearing knocking sounds coming from his closet for the past few minutes. He's clearly scared, but trying to stay calm, talking quietly while keeping the camera pointed toward the closet door.
I just heard knocking from the closet.
The moment he mentions the knocking, a loud, sharp knock echoes from inside the closet, so loud that he jumps and freezes in place. He slowly gets out of bed and walks toward it, breathing deeply as he inches closer. Just before his hand reaches the handle, another knock hits the door, this one quicker and just as forceful, almost like whatever's inside is responding directly to him. He swings the door open and films every corner of the closet, but it's completely empty. No movement, no shadows, nothing out of place. He steps back into the hallway, trying to process what just happened, when suddenly the door across from the closet slams shut on its own. He spins around in panic, but the room is empty. No one there. This entire sequence makes it seem like whatever was knocking wasn't confined to the closet at all, and it wasn't done trying to get his attention. Celsa set up a CCTV camera in her daughter's room because something had been keeping the little girl awake night after night, and they wanted to finally see what was going on. The footage she shared was recorded just before 6 in the evening, long before bedtime, which made what happened even stranger. The room looks completely normal at first, sunlight still coming through the curtains, but every few seconds, small orbs drift across the frame, floating in different directions, as if they have their own movement. Her daughter is lying on the bed, fast asleep, totally unaware of what the camera is picking up. Then, right at the end of the clip, the duvet at the foot of the bed pulls downward in a single, smooth tug. The girl doesn't move, and nothing is visible touching it. The blanket shifts a few inches, as if someone grabbed it from below, then it settles back into place. There's no one in the room with her, and the orbs from earlier make the moment feel even more unsettling. For Celsa, this confirmed that her daughter wasn't imagining things, and something in that room might actually be interacting with her when no one else is around. Here's where things get even stranger. A second CCTV camera in the living room was recording close to 9 at night, and this time the entire house was empty. There's no movement on the furniture, no shadows passing by, nothing that should be causing any disturbances. But in the hallway beyond the living room, something small keeps peeking out every so often. It leans into view for a split second, almost like a head or a tiny figure, then pulls back into the darkness. It happens repeatedly throughout the footage, always quick enough that you'd miss it if you weren't watching closely. With nobody home and nothing in the house that could explain it, the hallway sightings left Seltzer even more convinced that whatever tugged the duvet upstairs might be moving freely through other parts of the home too. In the final clip of the saga, Seltzer's daughter is asleep again, this time in the middle of the day. It's just after 1 in the afternoon, bright outside. Nothing that should make the room feel unsettling at all. But then something strange happens, so take a look. The camera is pointed at the bed the same way as before. Everything is calm at first, then something beside her shifts in a way that's different from the earlier tug caught on camera. Something small seems to move across the fabric, almost like a tiny eye twitching for a moment before disappearing. It's impossible to tell exactly what it is, but the motion is clear, and it isn't the girl, who stays completely still the whole time. The movement is subtle but unmistakable, the kind that makes your stomach drop, because it shouldn't be happening at all. After everything else caught in this house, this final clip feels like the most direct sign yet that something is actually on the bed with her, even in broad daylight, and whatever has been disturbing her hasn't gone anywhere. A man was out in his backyard when he noticed something moving deep in the woodlands behind his house. Something subtle enough that at first he thought his eyes were playing tricks on him, but when it happened again, he pulled out his phone and started filming just in case.
Hi, it's me again. I'm just calling just to let you know. I've seen that thing again in the backyard. I've got the camera on. I'm trying to capture it. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to see if I can get it. Anyway, give me a call when you get this message. Bye. No! What is that? No way. No. What is that? No way. Yeah, it's me. I've just seen that thing. I've actually got it on camera. I'll show you when you get home. Give me a call as soon as you get this message.
After a few seconds of watching from the yard, he decides to rush back inside and run upstairs for a better angle from the window. When he zooms in from the second floor, that's when he finally catches it clearly enough to make his voice go shaky. Something strange glides across the tree line. Not solid, not fully visible, but not invisible either. It looks like a distortion in the air, the way heat waves ripple, except this moves with purpose, almost shaped like someone walking, but completely transparent. You can see the trees through it, yet the outline is unmistakable as it drifts between them. It doesn't behave like an animal or a shadow, and it's too defined to be a camera glitch. The man stays silent for a few seconds, before calling someone and letting them know. But whatever it is just keeps moving until it fades behind the thicker trees. Whatever was in those woods wasn't trying to hide, but it definitely wasn't something he could understand. A group of friends were hanging out home alone for the night, just talking and messing around, when they suddenly heard something fall in one of the rooms down the hall. At first they laughed it off, but when it happened again they all went quiet and called out hello, asking if someone was there, even though they knew nobody else was in the house. The noises kept coming in short bursts, like objects shifting around on their own, so they finally grabbed a phone and decided to check it out together.
¿Están escuchando? Soy yo. Se están escuchando mazo de ruidos, tú. Yo vine del baño.
No vayas, estás loco,
Hermano.
¿Qué es lo que quiere que vayas?
Vale,
venga, poco a poco, tío. Una polla.
Una polla.
No.
Para.
La linterna, hermano, ¿qué haces? ¿Estás loco?
Se está escuchando desde el hermano.
Escúchame, pon la linterna ahí, hermano.
¿Hola?
Una polla. Hermano, esto da mucho mal rollo,
¿Hay alguien ahí?
No.
Hermano.
Tira, vamos a ver lo que es.
Pero, hermano, no.
Acércate, ¿cómo? Tira. Asoma la cámara. Acércate lo que hay, Vale, ahí no hay nada. Nada ahí. ¡Hostia puta!
¡Corre, hermano! ¡Corre! What the fuck!
They peek round the bathroom door, slowly, joking nervously as they film. But the second the camera tilts toward the bath, their voices drop instantly. Reflected in the glass is an uncanny face staring back at them, not shaped like any of theirs, not human in a way that makes your stomach twist. The eyes look too wide, the smile too sharp, and it's in a place where nobody in the group was physically standing. One of them runs away in pure panic before they all sprint back down the hallway. Whatever they caught in that room wasn't a prank, and it wasn't any of them. It was something else watching them from the darkness of the bathroom. Jason was trying to grab a late bite at the subway inside Memorial Hospital, a place that already had a reputation for ghost sightings over the years. Nurses had talked about strange footsteps, flickering lights, and even a little girl seen wandering the halls long after visiting hours. Jason didn't really believe any of it, but while waiting for a member of staff to show up, he decided to film the empty place just to show how eerie the place was.
Alright, we're at Subway at Memorial Hospital, and there's been reports of ghost activity. Maybe we'll get lucky and capture a ghost. It's a ghost of a little girl. Oh my god, there she was!
For the first few seconds, nothing happens, just the hum of the machines and the glow of the fluorescent lights. Then out of nowhere a blur sprints across the frame, low to the ground, and fast enough that you only catch the shape for a moment before it disappears behind a counter. Jason jumps, but there's nobody there at all. No footsteps, no signs of movement, no child in sight. The blur almost resembles a small figure, and with the hospital's old stories about a little girl spirit roaming the cafeteria after dark, people started calling this clip the clearest proof yet. Whatever rushed past Jason wasn't a customer, wasn't a worker, and definitely wasn't human. A man was home alone while his daughter slept in the next room, editing something on his phone, when he suddenly heard a single piano key echo from his daughter's playroom. He grabbed his camera and walked quietly toward his daughter's room first, making sure she hadn't gotten up, but she was still fast asleep, and nothing seemed out of place. He waited in the doorway, listening, trying to convince himself it was just settling wood or a toy shifting.
It always gets crazy when I'm here by myself, or when my daughter's sleeping. But, see? I told you. I want her piano again. Hello? See, there's her piano. Don't mind her room. She has so many damn toys. You gotta clean up like every day in here. Hello? But at least y'all caught that part. Yeah. Nope, I'm good. Nope, I'm good. Shut that. I'm telling you, every time I'm here by myself, man. See, look, her piano's still going off in there, man.
Then the piano plays itself again, a different note this time, loud enough to make him flinch. Before he can even react, a toy robot sitting on the trampoline beside the piano suddenly activates on its own, even though nobody touched it. The man doesn't wait to see what happens next. He turns around instantly and walks straight out of the room, clearly done with whatever had just decided to wake up in the middle of the night. A man was in his bedroom late at night when the stillness of the house was broken by unsettling noises. At first, he tried to ignore it, but the sounds persisted, strange enough to make him grab his phone and start filming.
Hay algo en la cocina. Algo se mueve acá. Se movió eso, creo. No jodas.
He followed the noise out of his room, the camera shaking slightly as he made his way through the dark hallway until he reached the kitchen. That's when it happened. Some form of shadow glided across a row of long, thin objects that were propped up inside, brushing past them with an eerie presence. Just seconds later, they all came crashing down, filling the kitchen with a loud clatter. The man froze, clearly rattled, before quickly backing out of the room. With no one else in the house, and no way to explain how a shadow could physically interact with objects, the moment left him more shaken than ever. It was yet another chilling reminder that he wasn't alone. Rojo, a ghost hunter known for chasing down some of the most unnerving locations, set his sights on a school he strongly suspected was haunted. The building had long been rumored to hold on to dark energy, and he wanted to prove it for himself. With his equipment ready and camera rolling, he stepped inside the empty halls.
Estoy solo, no hay nadie, no hay ningún carro, nomás está la mía. Si vieron, alguien pasó allá. ¿Escucharon?
Almost immediately, shadows began appearing, not the kind caused by flickering lights or passing cars, but movements that seemed deliberate and intelligent, which is exactly what you would expect from a spirit. Determined to follow the activity, Rojo moved toward one of the classrooms. After spotting a shadow darting across the doorway, he pushed the door open and stepped inside cautiously. Just as he entered, a chair flew to the floor with force, startling him so badly he almost dropped his camera. The empty classroom was silent again, but the message was clear. Something inside that school did not want him there. The YouTube channel Exploration Unknown, with over 160,000 subscribers, took their audience along for another chilling adventure, this time exploring the haunted house of 7 Islands. Known for its dark history and eerie legends, the house had long been on their list of must-visit places. The team was setting up their equipment when one of them began casually recording an introduction for viewers.
Wow, that is beautiful. Oh, somebody's coming out. No, it's Tim.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you ruined my moonshot, bro.
Oh, man.
I already got it, though. It's all good. It's beautiful, man. Okay. All right, guys. We've got the K2 meter over here in this window. We're getting things set up. All right. And then in And then here.
As he walked through the house explaining that the team was setting up, the camera panned past the staircase. At that very moment, the shadow of a pair of shadow-looking legs could be seen walking across the top of the stairs, hidden behind the banister. Nobody else was supposed to be upstairs, and the rest of the team were accounted for on the ground floor. The figure never appeared again, but the fleeting shadow was enough to leave the crew and their viewers deeply unsettled. It was one of those moments that couldn't be explained away easily, and for Exploration Unknown, it confirmed that the haunted house of 7 Islands truly lived up to its terrifying reputation. The Japanese YouTube channel Fourth Wall, with over 260,000 subscribers, is well known for capturing unsettling encounters in some of the country's most haunted places. In one of their investigations, the team had been focusing on a room on the upper floor of a notoriously eerie facility, a spot they already suspected was charged with strange energy. Standing outside in the darkness, the cameraman tilted his lens up toward the window, talking about it. But just as he panned the shot back down, something unexpected happened. In the shadows of a doorway, a figure could be seen walking past. At first glance, it looked like a person, but the mannerisms and the way it acted, detached from the environment, made it an evident ghost. Many agreed it was one of the clearest ghostly captures the channel had ever recorded. Daniel Perez had grown used to the strange happenings in his home, but instead of ignoring them, he decided it was time to finally catch something on film. He set up in his kitchen, holding his camera steady as he spoke about the spirit he was certain lived alongside him.
En la cocina me dijeron que cuando vuelva a sentir otra vez ruidos, diga unas palabras para que se vaya. Y bueno, voy a decirlas ahora. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Ay, la puta madre. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Andate de mi casa.
For a while, nothing happened, just the ordinary quiet of the house. Then, suddenly, a pot was hurled to the floor with force, clattering loudly across the tiles. Daniel jumped at the sound, but kept the camera rolling, determined to show everything as it unfolded. Moments later, one of the kitchen cupboards creaked open by itself, fast and deliberate, as if something unseen wanted to make its presence known. Daniel's clip quickly spread online, with viewers agreeing that it was far too direct to be anything but paranormal. For him, the activity was further proof that his suspicions had been right all along. His home wasn't empty, and the spirit inside clearly wanted attention. An 11-year-old girl had been insisting for weeks that her house was haunted, but her parents brushed it off as imagination. Determined to prove she was right, she waited for the next urge of activity, listening carefully until the familiar sounds returned. Camera in hand, she sprinted upstairs, ready to capture it once and for all.
You know how I told you my house is haunted? Yeah, it's happening. What should I do? Should I go in there? I don't know if I should go in there. That door closed. It's just closed. I'm gonna turn the lights on. It's opening. It's opening. Should I go in there? I'll go in there. Nothing here. Like, what? There's nothing here. What do I do? Like, there's nothing here. But you saw that, so what should I do?
At the top of the landing, she caught clear footage of a door swinging open and slamming shut on its own, over and over, with no one nearby. Nervously, she flicked the light switch on and ran toward the room, pushing the door open to show the empty space behind it. There was nothing inside, no strings, no tricks. Just a room that should have been still, but wasn't. For a girl her age, the courage to chase down the activity left viewers stunned, and for her parents, the clip was undeniable proof that she hadn't been making things up. The very next day, the girl's mother was going about her usual routine, still unconvinced, despite the strange footage her daughter had shown her the night before. But while she was tidying up, something caught her eye.
Did you hear that? Whoa. Why is that thing moving? Okay. Hello? Hello? Okay. This side of the basement always freaks me out. Hello? Oh my god. I know, I just stopped that thing.
An underwear hanger nearby began swaying back and forth on its own, slow at first, and then with more force. She stopped what she was doing and went to check it, running her hands along the octopus hanger to show there was nothing that could have been tampering with it. Puzzled, she walked around the room, softly calling out, "Hello," as if testing whether something would answer. When she turned back, the hanger was moving again, just as unnaturally as before. This time, she froze, realizing her daughter might have been telling the truth all along. The family now had more than one strange moment on tape, leaving them questioning what exactly had settled into their home. Ghost Golden Guns was relaxing in front of the TV late one night when that uneasy feeling crept back into the house. Tired of ignoring it, he called out, asking if anyone was there.
Yo, what up? Ghost Golden Guns over here, and I'm going live right now because that's why. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? What the f? What the f? Who is out? Oh my god. Oh my goodness, what the f? Hello? Who is there? Oh my goodness, please stop. What the f? Please stop. Please stop. This is my house. Leave. Leave. This is my house. You're not allowed here. Leave. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh my goodness.
Almost immediately, the kitchen beside him erupted with a series of unexplainable noises and movements, far too deliberate to pass off as coincidence. He stood frozen for a moment, the weight of the situation setting in, before finally working up the courage to shout at whatever it was, demanding it to get out. Gathering himself, he walked into the kitchen with his camera still rolling. Just as he thought the activity had calmed, one of the cupboards creaked open on its own. It was the final straw for him that night. Rather than keep pushing, he turned away and decided to go to sleep, hoping that by morning the presence would be gone. For viewers, the video was another chilling sign that something inside his home wasn't finished with him yet. CCTV footage inside a quiet home recently captured something strange that left both the owners and viewers online disturbed. It starts off innocently enough, with the family dog wandering out of a room in the middle of the day. Just as the dog passes through the doorway, the gate-style doors begin to close on their own, slowly narrowing the frame. Nobody else is seen in the footage, no drafts are evident, and the dog immediately stops in its tracks, as if it senses something unnatural. The odd behavior of the animal paired with the unexplained movement of the gate left many unsettled. What makes this clip even stranger is that the owners claim this wasn't the first time their dog had acted unusual near that exact doorway. They said he often barked at it late at night or refused to cross it unless coaxed, something they had previously chalked up to pet anxiety. But after reviewing this footage, they aren't so sure anymore. Some viewers suggested the dog was reacting to a presence unseen by humans, while others speculated it could be tied to the home's history. Either way, the uneasy reaction of the dog makes the unexplained movement of the doors feel less like a coincidence and more like a sign of something lurking in the house. CCTV footage from the same home continued to raise alarm only a few nights later. This time, the family's dog was resting inside its cage, which was considered its safe spot where it usually felt most comfortable.
Hey, just want to hop on here and explain some things about the ghost and my dog. So my dog is crate trained from his previous owner. That's his safe spot. That's where he goes when it's chaos in the house with all the children, or we have company that he doesn't like. He just goes in there and chills. So that's why he sleeps in his crate. It's his safe spot. Anyway, so what you didn't see in this video is after these slight movements of the door handle, he gets up, he's wagging his tail, he is ready to go. He only starts whimpering when it doesn't open for him. So I come out, make him go potty, and you would not know anything was wrong with him. He is ready to go back in that crate. He fell asleep. I checked the camera. That night, there have been a few other things happening in the house. If you look at my older videos, and he is super chill in like the door video. And as far as the kitchen video, we have had so many things get pushed off of that countertop, and he gobbles it up. He gobbles it up. He is there waiting for it to fall. And so I think him and the ghost are like BFFs for life, or afterlife. Just had to put that dad joke in there. Sorry. Anyway, he's fine.
At first, everything appeared normal until the handle of the cage suddenly twitched, making the dog sit up straight and fix its gaze on the movement. For a moment, nothing else happened, but then the handle shifted again, this time pushing itself back down. The dog stayed frozen, ears perked and body tense, clearly aware something wasn't right. As the clip goes on, the crate door handle keeps moving in small but deliberate motions, as if someone unseen were tampering with it. Many viewers began speculating that this could be tied to a past owner, possibly one who had passed away, returning in some unsettling way to interact with the animal. Claymore had grown used to the uneasy feeling of being alone in his house late at night, but the basement always carried a different kind of weight. It was a place he avoided unless necessary, filled with old boxes, pipes, and shadows that seemed to stretch longer than they should. At 4:53 in the morning, he found himself wide awake when the sound of heavy knocks echoed from the basement door. This wasn't the first time he'd heard it, but on this particular night, he decided to capture the proof.
Alright, so that right there is my basement door, right? I'm downstairs by myself. It's like 4:53 in the morning, and I just started hearing that. I have no idea what it is, but I'm down here by myself. Everybody's sleeping, just me. Ain't the first time I heard this shit either.
As he held his camera, the banging grew more distinct, and it was very hard to miss. What made it worse was his certainty that nobody else was in the house. Claymore admitted later into the clip that the sounds had happened before, often in the dead of night when silence made every echo worse. Whether it was coincidence, pipes, or something paranormal trying to reach out, he couldn't shake the dread of knowing the basement seemed to be alive with its own intentions. The next day, Claymore was working late at his PC when the familiar sound returned. The basement door began to knock again, steady and deliberate, pulling his attention away from the glow of his monitor. At first, he tried to ignore it, but the noise persisted until he finally stood, grabbing his camera as proof.
Alright, you guys are in luck. You wanted it, right? There it is. Ain't me knocking on shit. Ain't nobody down here, right? Now, you guys are gonna say, oh, it's somebody in there, it's an animal. Nope. Let's go. So who's down here? Nobody. Nobody down here? Nobody downstairs? I don't want to hear none of that bullshit about, oh, it's somebody. Ain't f***ing. We hear that shit every single night.
He walked slowly toward the door, his steps hesitant. With one hand, he pulled it open, flicked on the light, and revealed the stairs leading to the basement. Heart pounding, he began his descent, his camera catching every creak of the steps as he scanned the space below. The basement was silent. Nothing out of place, no sign of movement or presence. After pacing around and confirming nobody was hiding, he turned back and walked up the stairs, shutting the door behind him. The unease lingered, though, and the sense that something had wanted him down there, but disappeared the moment he arrived. After this, he thought the ordeal was over, but only a short while later, the noises returned. This time, the sound wasn't coming from the basement door, but from the bathroom wall. It started as faint thuds and quickly turned into aggressive knocking that seemed to echo through the small space.
Alright, so I was hearing that knocking again, right? Except this time it's coming from that wall right there, which is my downstairs bathroom. And after a while I started hearing tapping on the bathroom door as well. So, what else? Record. See if anything else happens. I mean, I hear the shit every night. It's okay, that's never happened before. Now I have to go check it out, otherwise you guys are gonna be like, oh, it's probably somebody in there. Let's go see. I'll show you guys right now. Ain't nobody in this mother. And it is empty. Yeah, no, that one was weird. That's never actually happened before. That's new, at least.
He turned his camera toward the bathroom, and through the small crack of the door, the light inside could be seen flicking on and off, almost as if someone was toying with the switch from within. Gathering what courage he had left, he got up, pushed the door open, and stepped inside with the camera. The bathroom was completely empty. Nothing out of place, no reason for the sounds or the lights to behave that way. Shaken to his core, he's now seriously considering moving out, knowing his sense of safety has been completely taken from the home. Patrick had always hated going into his basement, but one night curiosity got the better of him. He unlocked the basement door, shut it firmly behind him, and started recording as he walked into the strange, unfinished space. The concrete walls and dim lighting gave it the unsettling look of something straight out of the back rooms, stretching into a narrow corridor that seemed far too long for a house basement. As he made his way down, the camera caught a shadow suddenly dashing across behind the corner at the very end of the hallway. His breathing quickened as he crept forward, determined to see what it was. But when he turned the corner, there was nothing there, just more empty walls and silence pressing in around him. The clip ends before anything else happens, but Patrick later explained that seconds after cutting the camera, fear overtook him and he bolted up the stairs, convinced that something was following close behind. A family had been searching tirelessly for their missing cat, putting up flyers, calling shelters, and setting up trail cameras around their property in the hopes of spotting it. Most nights the cameras picked up nothing unusual, just wind moving through the grass or the occasional animal passing by. But one evening, while the parents were working in the garage, one of the trail cams triggered, and what it captured left them speechless. The footage showed a strange white apparition suddenly appearing at the edge of the frame. At first glance, it looked like a mist, but when paused, the outline was far too defined. It resembled the shape of a human, faint and pale. The clip cut off just as the figure fully entered the shot, giving viewers no chance to see what might have happened next. The family was shaken, insisting that no one else was outside at the time. Their cat never returned, and with no explanation for the ghostly image, they've been left wondering if its disappearance is connected to something far more unsettling. At first, it seemed like a normal workday for the man, clocking into his shift and heading toward the lockers in the back room. Nothing out of the ordinary had happened all morning, and he wasn't expecting anything either. But while walking past the row of metal lockers, one of them slowly creaked open all by itself.
¿Por qué haces esto? ¿En qué puedo ayudarte? ¿Qué necesitas? Dime, ¿necesitas algo? ¿En qué puedo ayudarte? Pero no me hagas esto. ¿En qué puedo ayudarte?
He sat down and stayed there in disbelief for a moment, then nervously asked out loud how he could help and what the ghost needed from him. Almost as if in direct response, the locker door slowly shut again, this time leaving a slight crack, as though inviting him to keep engaging. Unsure, he asked again, wanting to see if it was truly connected to something paranormal. That's when the door suddenly swung open again, only to slam shut with far more force than before. His shock was obvious, and though he didn't run, he quickly backed away from the row of lockers. Later, he told his manager everything, showing the footage as proof. His manager has since confirmed they are waiting on an official investigation into what exactly is happening back there, leaving everyone at the workplace on edge. Carly and her friend were just messing around one evening, laughing and recording random clips for fun. It wasn't even meant for posting, just something to look back on later. Her friend started doing a goofy little dance in the living room, and Carly pulled out her phone to film, both of them already cracking up at how ridiculous it looked.
Y aquí va Lala. Aquí va Lala bailando. Dale, tu cuerpo.
But right in the middle of the dance, something on the shelf behind her friend suddenly fell to the ground. Neither of them were anywhere near it, and there was no way it could have just tipped over by accident. Both girls screamed at the exact same time and bolted out of the room in panic, their laughter instantly turning into terrified shrieks. Later, when they replayed the footage, it only made them more unsettled because it was so clear nothing touched the object at all. What started out as a harmless, funny night turned into the moment they realized something else might be sharing the space with them. She had been lying in bed, scrolling on her phone and trying to relax after a long day when she first noticed it. At first, she thought it was just the house settling, or maybe a neighbor outside, but the dragging noise continued, low and heavy, moving slowly right outside her room. Her stomach dropped as the sound grew closer, scraping against the floor in a way that felt almost intentional.
Estoy preocupada en serio esta vez, ya me tienen podrida. Las cosas se mueven solas. Estoy recagada hasta las patas, encima estoy sola. Estoy recagada hasta las patas mal. Ay, la concha de Dios. Ya estoy cansada, ya les juro, chicas. ¿Quién sos? Ay, a la concha de la lora. No me dejan en paz. Ay, no. Ay, no.
Just as she gathered the courage to get up and check, the door to her bedroom slammed shut with terrifying force, making her jump out of bed in tears. Shaking, she opened the door again, only to watch as objects across the corridor collapsed violently to the ground, as if something had shoved them over. Before she could process what had just happened, the hallway lights went completely dark, leaving her crying in fear, knowing she was trapped in a place that didn't feel like her home anymore. This man had long accepted that his house was haunted, but each new occurrence still found a way to shake him. Strange noises echoed through the halls late at night, enough to convince him to grab his camera and investigate yet again.
Voy a grabar porque estoy en mi trabajo y vine a dejar unas cosas, pero aquí siempre se escuchan cosas raras, pero hoy, en el rato que llevo aquí, o sea, de plano ya son ruidos muy raros y voy a ver si puedo grabar algo. Este apagador está atorado, no puedo presionarlo, creo que no sirve. Y Ni siquiera hay focos donde debería de haber. Este es un área como de... se almacenan muchas cosas. Cosas viejas. Pero la verdad, ahorita yo estoy solito aquí. Tengo mucho miedo, no mames. ¿Qué fue eso? Ay, no sé si sea buena idea. No sé si sea buena idea. Yo aquí no hay nada. Ay, no sé qué fue eso. O sea, está súper rarísimo. No sé qué habrá sido, la verdad. Pero donde más escuché es allá arriba y la neta me están temblando las piernas para subir. No, no mames. Algo se está moviendo allá arriba. No mames. No mames, no mames, no mames. ¿Qué fue eso? No manches. No mames. ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Qué fue eso? No mames. No mames, no mames. Esto fue lo que se movió. Ay, me está temblando la mano. Uf. Ay. Tengo las orejas hasta calientes. Aquí no. Pues aquí nadie tiene acceso. O sea, no sube nadie. O sea, ahorita les voy a enseñar que no hay nada. Nada, ni nadie aquí. No mames. De hecho, que está como cerrada. Aquí. No hay nada. Miren aquí desde... No mames, no mames, no mames. ¿Qué fue eso? No mames, no mames. La verdad es que esta luz que está acá fue la que me hizo... No hay nadie. Aquí no sé qué pedo. No mames, no mames. ¿Qué fue eso? No manches.
As he reached the base of the attic staircase, the moment turned chilling when a cloth was suddenly pulled straight out of the dark doorway above, as if yanked by invisible hands. Heart pounding, he forced himself to climb the stairs, hoping to find an explanation waiting in the shadows. But when he finally reached the attic, there was nothing there, just the same dusty emptiness that had always been. It was another reminder that the presence in his home wasn't just noise or imagination, it was something unseen that wanted him to know it was there. Jigpoopuff had always been the kind of YouTuber who loved testing the limits of home alone setups, especially late at night when the house was completely quiet. On this particular evening, he decided to film some casual content, unaware that his own walls would soon become part of the show.
Okay, lights turned out again. What is that? This is creepy.
The lights suddenly cut out, plunging the room into darkness, and a series of strange knocking sounds echoed along the walls. Heart racing, he spun around to check the source, only to catch sight of a painting on the wall, slowly tilting, as if nudged by an invisible hand. The subtle movement was enough to make him step back, realizing that this wasn't just a trick of the eye or a loose frame. Something unseen had made its presence known, turning his quiet night into a chilling encounter. Josh Robillard was driving home late one night after finishing some errands, the streets unusually quiet and misty. As he pulled into his driveway, something caught his eye, a human silhouette standing in one of his upstairs windows. Heart pounding, he quickly got out of the car, unsure if it was a prank, a reflection, or something more sinister.
Okay, so I just got home from work, and there should be nobody at my house right now. I mean, it should be completely empty. But I just pulled up, and what is that? Is that a person? What the fuck is that? Should be nobody in the house. Nobody at all. Okay, well, I guess I'll check it out. Okay.
He approached the house cautiously, peering through the window, but the room was empty. The shadow had vanished, leaving him confused and unnerved. Even after checking every corner, Josh found nothing out of place, but the fleeting glimpse had left a lingering chill that stayed with him the rest of the night, making him question whether he was truly alone in his home. Jorge Cruz had been haunted for a long time, experiencing a string of unexplainable events in his home. In a previous video, he caught a series of noises on camera, objects falling off shelves, and even a cross turning upside down on his mirror, confirming that something was definitely disturbing his household. In this new clip, Jorge attempts to take matters into his own hands. He sets up the camera, explaining his objective: to cleanse the space and force the spirit to leave. Holding holy water and a scripture, he begins saying his plan aloud.
Hello everybody. So today, I want to come here because I know that this room has been having quite a few activities, as you guys all seen, and I do want to have some prayers over this room. I know that, you know, a lot of people has been saying for me to pray. Obviously, I have some holy water, and I also have a Bible to pray over the room as well. So today, I obviously want to read. So today I want to start off by reading real quick. So I start real quick, all right? So we're gonna... Oh hell no. Oh hell.
As he continues, a shadow glides silently above him to his right, causing a chill to run down his spine. Shortly after, A cross on the shelf behind him falls, landing near a photo of his father. Jorge flinches, but continues his prayer, visibly shaken, yet determined. By the end of the recording, the room falls silent, leaving an uneasy calm. Viewers are left questioning whether his efforts had any effect, and the haunting seems far from over. A woman was home alone one night, relaxing on the couch while the TV played in front of her. She was about to get up and put some laundry away when something in the reflection of the screen made her freeze.
So I'm home alone, right? I'm sitting here watching TV. And I'm like, I'm going back to my room. Once again, I just got done doing laundry at my sister's. So I'm about to go put everything up. Home alone with my dogs. And I think it's back.
Clear as day, the reflection showed a dark, demonic-looking figure sitting right next to her on the couch. She whipped her head around instantly, but of course, nothing was there. What makes this worse is that she claims this isn't the first time. It has happened more than once, and each time it leaves her more uneasy about being in her own home. Now she says she can't even relax watching TV anymore without checking the reflections first. Snowball99, a smaller YouTuber known for occasionally sharing strange moments from her home, uploaded a video that quickly caught the attention of paranormal-believing viewers. She had been watching TV for quite some time when, out of nowhere, the lights in her living room suddenly shut off, plunging the space into an uneasy dimness. Rather than ignoring it, she decided to grab her phone and start recording to document anything unusual.
Brazil with total live earnings of $75,000. Oh my God. Yeah, Diego, let's see a plot connect cards to make a decent top pair and he calls as well. We're going three-way to the flop.
That's going mad.
For a while, nothing else seemed to happen besides the faint sound of the television in the background. But as the silence settled, both of her dogs began to whimper simultaneously, their eyes fixed on the same corner of the room. It was the kind of reaction animals have when they sense something humans can't. Just as the video is about to end, viewers can clearly see a grey teddy bear on the floor subtly shift on its own. A small but unmistakable movement. Snowball99 immediately stops recording, her breathing audible and shaken, and later wrote that she hadn't been able to sleep properly since. The clip spread quickly, with many calling it one of her eeriest uploads yet. 2 nights after the Teddy incident, Snowball99 found herself on edge. She'd been trying to convince herself that what happened last time was a one-off, maybe just her imagination playing tricks on her. But when faint noises started echoing through her bedroom late at night, she didn't hesitate, and she instantly grabbed her phone to hit record. She slowly panned the camera across the room, showing every corner to prove there was nothing and no one else inside. As the camera settled back toward her bed, her sheets began to shift unnaturally, as if something was moving underneath them. Her dogs weren't in the room this time, making the moment even harder to rationalize. She tried to keep the camera steady, breathing heavily, when suddenly a pen fell off her desk completely on its own. There was no breeze, no movement nearby, and she made sure to replay the clip in slow motion for viewers so they could see exactly what she saw. No visible cause. By the end of the video, her breathing was shaky, and she admitted later that she slept with her parents for the rest of the week, despite her older age. Whatever is in that room doesn't seem to be slowing down, and they're looking into bringing a helper in. Eddie had been dealing with strange activity for weeks, but this time it felt different. The knocking wasn't echoing through the halls like before. Rather, it was coming from one specific spot. He grabbed his phone and started recording as he walked through his now loud house toward the sound.
Mam użyć?
The knocking grew clearer with every step until he stood directly in front of a tall cupboard, the noise tapping steadily from behind it. He hesitated for a moment, clearly unnerved, then swung the doors open wide. What made the moment so chilling was that the knocking didn't stop. Even with the entire cupboard fully open, exposing the wall and everything inside, the rhythmic tapping kept going as if it was coming from inside the very structure of the house itself. There was nothing behind it, nothing leaning against it, and no visible explanation for what was happening. Eddie stood frozen, the camera capturing his uneasy breathing as the knocking echoed on. It was one of the clearest pieces of activity he'd caught yet, leaving viewers just as unsettled as he was. On another occasion, Eddie was trying to unwind in his living room, but the calm didn't last long. It never does when your house is haunted.
Yeah, okay. Wreszcie w domu. No, stąd? Ja pierdolę. Michael, Tobi, przewodniczący komitetu posiedzony.
A faint tapping started coming from a cabinet across the room, the one where he kept fragile items like wine glasses. The sound was light but steady, enough to pull his attention completely. He grabbed his phone again and walked slowly toward it, each step amplifying the tension. Just as he reached the cabinet, a loud bang echoed from elsewhere in the house, and the tapping inside the cabinet stopped instantly, as if whatever caused it had shifted its focus. Startled, he continued and hurried toward the source of the bang, which seemed to come from his bedroom. When he entered, he noticed the door had shut on its own. He checked behind it, scanning every corner, but found nothing unusual. As he stood there trying to process what was happening, another noise echoed faintly from the kitchen. Rushing over, he found one of the drawers fully opened, even though he was sure he'd closed it earlier. The sequence of sounds felt coordinated, like whatever was in his home was deliberately leading him from room to room, and for the first time, his unease turned into genuine fear. Late at night, a security guard was doing his usual rounds when something on one of the CCTV monitors caught his attention. It's safe to say that it was far from expected. In the corner of the screen, a figure could clearly be seen sitting in an office chair inside one of the building's rooms. It looked like a woman, sitting unnaturally still, but the strange part was that the guard was standing right next to that very chair in real life. He turned his phone camera toward it to show proof, and the chair was completely empty. No one was there. Shaken, he bolted toward another nearby room that the cameras showed as being pitch black. When he arrived, the lights were off, despite the fact that he swore he'd left them on earlier. He flipped the switch, restored the lights, and quickly returned to the security room to keep watching the feeds. That's when things took an even darker turn. On the same monitor, the woman who had been sitting in the empty chair was now standing in the room he had just checked. It was like she'd followed him there. The realization hit him all at once, and his breathing turned shaky as he stared at the screen, fully aware that he was alone in the building. Whoever was haunting him definitely did its job of causing fright. Every morning without fail, Shannon would wake up to find the exact same cabinet door standing wide open. It wasn't just a random door either. It was always the left door, the one that had a secure snap mechanism that made it impossible to swing open on its own. Tired of wondering, she decided to start filming it in order to prove she wasn't imagining things.
Okay guys, I'm gonna post this on Facebook, but every morning that I wake up, this cabinet right here, this cabinet right here is open. And it's always this door. It's got a snap, as you can see up top right there. It snaps, so there's no way that that door can just open up on its own. It's not even full inside of the cabinet. But every morning I wake up, for the last 2 weeks, this door has been open as if something or someone has opened the door, and I've asked everyone in the home here that lives with us, and no one messes with this cabinet. This is in my room. Now, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to try to set my camera up at night, and I'm going to try to see if I can catch it opening up on its own. If I can, I'm going to post it on Facebook. I'm going to post it on YouTube also. Not Facebook, YouTube. This is just the freakiest thing ever to me. Like, it freaks me out. It just, like, I can't take it. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'll try to keep updates on it and let you guys know if it opens up again. Like, it's super freaky to me. Super freaky.
Shannon pans the camera toward the cabinet, showing how the right door stays firmly shut while the left hangs open again. She zooms in on the snap to show it clearly locked in place, meaning that there is no way it could open on its own. Wind or uneven hinges couldn't be the cause. Determined to catch whatever was happening, she sets a camera up facing the cabinet before heading to bed. She explains that if the door opens again by morning, there will finally be proof. The clip ends with the camera positioned, quietly recording through the night, leaving viewers wondering what it will capture when the sun rises. The very next day, Shannon uploaded a follow-up video, and this time she had undeniable proof. The footage shows her cabinet in the early morning, completely still, before the left door slowly pulls itself open as if something invisible was tugging on it. The crazy thing is that it happened as she was collecting the camera.
So, yeah. And see, there it goes again. It just now opened on its own. Wow. And see, there's a snappy thing right there. It snaps shut tight. Maybe if I do it like that, it won't open. I'll try.
What makes it even stranger is that Shannon points out the snap mechanism again, zooming in to show how it clicks firmly into place, proving it can't just drift open on its own. She then steps into frame, closes the door herself with a clear snapping sound, and pulls on it lightly to show just how secure it is. Despite locking into place the exact same way, the cabinet had opened without her touching it. Shannon sounds both unsettled and vindicated, reminding viewers this has happened every morning without fail, but now she finally has evidence to back it up. The way the door opens so slowly makes it feel deliberate, like something inside the house wants to be noticed. The spooky thing is that it got what it wanted. Chriselle Luna has returned to the same chilling location featured in her previous investigation, a place that has already given viewers some unforgettable moments. For those unfamiliar, she's been exploring a notoriously haunted site, documenting everything she experiences for her audience. In this new clip, Chriselle is seen stepping outside the facility into the pitch-black night, her flashlight barely cutting through the darkness. The atmosphere is heavy, with only the sound of her footsteps echoing against the quiet surroundings.
¿Qué dicen que ven en el lugar, eh? Estoy sintiendo que la energía cada vez se está poniendo peor. Ok. Vamos a salir de este lugar. Quiero ver si en la casa logramos registrar algo, ya que creo que es donde hay mayor actividad paranormal. Vean, se ve terrible ese lugar. Ay, escuchen. Meli, acá. Escuché un ruido ahí. No sé si la cámara lo registró. No sé si fue por el aire. Pero aquí escuché algo. ¿Quién está aquí? Se está moviendo. ¿Quién eres? ¿Necesitas ayuda? Quiero ver si estás aquí. Si necesitas...
Just as she's about to move further away, a bang erupts from inside the building, causing her to whip around and hurry back in. She scans the area cautiously, her camera sweeping across the dark interior. Nothing appears to have changed. The only thing standing in the middle of the silence is the same old tractor she encountered before. Unmoving yet oddly eerie, she eventually ends the clip still uneasy. Subscribe to me as this story has not yet ended. Ashley had set up a camera in her bedroom after weeks of feeling uneasy at home, mostly just to reassure herself that nothing strange was really happening. It wasn't the middle of the night either. This took place around 6 p.m. while she was busy filming other content in another part of the house. Mid-recording, she began hearing noises upstairs. At first, she brushed it off, thinking it might just be her cat moving around. But when the sounds came again, her camera caught this.
Alright, so I'm regretting putting the camera up in this room. I know we did it so we could see if anything happened, but I didn't want to see anything. Okay? And my mom's coming this weekend, so she can't know about this. I was downstairs filming content, and I heard something upstairs, but I was like, it's just Coco. She's not down here. Coco's upstairs playing. All fine. But then I heard it again, and here's what we found. Here's what we caught on the camera. And I'm not okay. I'm either going to be moving this weekend, putting the house up for sale, but I'm not okay. Send help. What do I do?
On the video, her wardrobe door could be seen opening and closing several times on its own. The movements weren't subtle either. It looked deliberate, as if someone or something was trying to get attention. Ashley rushed upstairs, heart pounding, and immediately checked inside the wardrobe. Nothing was there. No animal, no person, nothing that could have caused it. The fact that it all happened in broad daylight only made it scarier for her, and ever since, she's been second-guessing whether she should even stay alone in that house anymore. A man was walking the halls of a hospital late at night, already uneasy because of its reputation for being haunted. The building was almost silent except for his own footsteps, the kind of silence that makes every creak feel louder than it should. He filmed as he explored, narrating quietly and evidently feeling a sense of inner fear.
No mames, güey, necesito que alguien venga, güey. Se escuchan cosas, güey, y... No mames, se escucha la puta regadera, güey, del puto baño, güey. No mames. Necesito que alguien venga, güey, me estoy cagando de miedo, güey, al chile, güey. Oigan, güey. No mames, güey, no prende la puta luz, güey. No mames, Cuchi, güey. ¡No seas ojete, güey! No mames. No mames, güey. Hay alguien, güey. A la verga. No mames. Su puta madre, güey. No mames. No mames. No mames, güey.
As he stepped into one of the bathrooms, the sound of running water echoed from the showers, even though nobody else was supposed to be there. He started calling out to see if anyone was inside, but instead of an answer, he caught something chilling, half of a ghostly face peeking around the corner of the tiled wall. To this day, he swears it was no trick of the light, but something far darker residing in that hospital. Eddie had been dealing with constant knocking around his house for weeks, the kind of sounds that keep you awake at night and make you second-guess every little creak. On this particular night, he finally decided to get up and see what was going on. The video starts as he leaves his bedroom, following the loud banging that echoed through the hallway. He quickly identified the source, the bathroom door, where something was slamming against it. Gathering his nerves, he opened it, but the room was completely empty. He flicked on the lights to be sure, and found nothing out of place. Just as he began to calm down, another sound echoed from the kitchen, which was a heavy thud, like something falling. Rushing over, he discovered an object lying on the floor that hadn't been there seconds before. Breathing hard, he filmed the aftermath, clearly shaken, and later admitted he wasn't sure how much longer he could stay in the house. The following night, Eddie decided to leave a camera running while he tried to sleep, hoping to finally get proof of what was happening. At roughly 2 a.m., the knocking started again, echoing through the hallway in the same relentless rhythm as before. This time, though, the camera also picked up the sound of a cat meowing from nearby. The strange part was that the cat never came into view, even though the sound grew louder as if it was pacing near the bathroom door. The knocking continued in bursts, shaking the silence of the house while the camera rolled, capturing every sound. When Eddie reviewed the footage the next morning, he admitted that the combination of the meows and the knocks felt deeply unsettling, almost like the noises were feeding off each other. It left him thinking about things for sure. Eddie, determined to get more solid evidence, decided to set up a camera downstairs the following morning before heading off to work. He left the TV on quietly in the background, thinking the noise might draw out whatever was causing all the disturbances. Hours later, when he returned and checked the footage, what he saw was enough to send chills down his spine. In the middle of the day, with nobody home, a dark shadow shot across the living room, darting from one side of the frame to the other so quickly it was almost a blur. Moments later, the rug tucked behind the couch was pulled down, flattening itself on the seat, with no explanation. The camera then caught a cupboard door swinging open and closed by itself, followed by the clatter of something falling from the kitchen counter just out of frame. Watching it all back, Eddie admitted this was some of the clearest and most terrifying footage he had ever captured. The fact that it all happened while he wasn't even there made it feel like whatever was haunting the house was growing bolder. He later said he wasn't sure if he wanted to keep setting up cameras because the more he recorded, the worse it seemed to get. The following CCTV footage from inside a busy playhouse seemed ordinary at first, with children laughing and enjoying their time. But then one boy let out a loud scream, his face full of panic, before bolting across to the other side of the playhouse as if he'd seen something none of the others did. A staff member rushed over to check on him, clearly concerned, and entered the small room the boy had fled from.
What happened? Were you in there? Were you in there? No. Who knocked this over? Who knocked this over? Maybe it was just yeah, what was it done? Good. I
Just moments later, one of the toy houses in that very room began to tilt over on its own, slowly leaning before crashing down without anyone touching it. The sound startled the kids, sending a wave of upset cries through the playhouse. Watching the clip back, many were disturbed not only by the movement of the toy house, but by the timing. Whatever force was there had chosen to act right in front of children. People online called it an evil presence, saying any spirit willing to scare kids so openly had darker intentions than most. The video quickly spread as viewers argued whether this was a genuine haunting or something staged. But for those who saw the fear on the children's faces, it was hard to dismiss as anything other than real. The staff member who had rushed into the room that day later decided to record a vlog explaining what had really happened. She described the incident in detail, saying that after the toy house fell, she found out what the actual answer was, and it definitely chilled her.
I wanted to quickly show you exactly what it was that was scaring the little kid that my mom was watching. So pretty much, so firstly we have the house, and obviously you guys saw that it fell, but the other thing I wanted to point out was that it's pretty hefty, so it really doesn't make any sense that it would just fall on its own like that. So that's just something I wanted to point out. And this is the room. The crazy thing about this is that there was like markings at the top of the entranceway of like the doorway, and I guess in the video you can see hands gripping onto the doorway. I don't really know what to make of that.
I thought at first that it was like bugs or something like that, but it looked almost like two hands like gripping on the top, like leading into this room, just like. But the main thing, and the reason that the little boy was screaming, is actually in here. We have this covered up for a reason. Apparently, the little boy told my mom that he saw a face in these mirrors. We already found someone who's going to take it off our hands and pick it up off Facebook Marketplace. But we have been keeping this room off limits.
It was a set of mirrors that had once been set up for the kids to play with. The boy insisted that while looking into them, he saw strange faces staring back, faces that weren't his, or any of the other children's. According to him, they were twisted, distorted, and watching him until he couldn't take it anymore, which is why he ran screaming. The woman explained that after hearing this, she and the other staff wasted no time covering the mirrors and eventually selling them off, hoping to remove whatever had caused the disturbance. She admitted she'd never seen anything like it before, and that the whole team agreed the boy's reaction had been far too real to be dismissed. The clip added another layer to the story, leaving many to wonder if the mirrors had somehow been tied to the evil presence that showed itself that day. An Asian ghost hunter who goes by The Dark is known for being paid to investigate haunted locations, often venturing into places most wouldn't dare to enter. On one of his recent investigations, he explored a large abandoned facility, carrying only a flashlight and his camera. The atmosphere was already unsettling, with every step echoing in the empty halls, but then something happened that stopped him in his tracks.
حطوا سماعة يا جماعة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات.
Out of nowhere, a sheet lying on the floor suddenly flew upward into the air, as if lifted by unseen hands. The movement was sharp and unnatural, with no sign of wind or explanation for how it happened. He spun around quickly, and in that same moment loud banging noises echoed from deeper inside the building, making the situation even more unnerving. The clip ends with him frozen, torn between going to investigate and retreating, but one thing was certain: the flying sheet was far beyond anything natural. Chase was staying over at his girlfriend's house when something strange happened that made him start recording. She had told him before that the place was haunted, saying you could always hear footsteps moving around upstairs, even when nobody was there. Chase never believed her, until the night that changed everything. Take a look.
My front camera is smashed, but I'm here at my girlfriend's house by myself. She always says it's haunted because it sounds like somebody is walking around upstairs. I've never heard it until now. I always said it's not haunted because the house is a little old. But it legit sounds like there's somebody upstairs. I will swing on a ghost, or if it's a person, I don't care. Who's up there? Oh my God, they're like at the top of the stairs. Come down these stairs and I will swing on you, I promise.
The video starts with him whispering that he's finally hearing it for himself. Faint but clear footsteps can be heard moving above him, slow and steady, like someone pacing. He walks toward the stairs, the sound growing louder with each step he takes. As he begins to climb, he pauses halfway up, shining the camera toward the landing, and asks who's up there. There's no answer, just silence and the faint creak of the house settling. Then, out of nowhere, the footsteps pick up again, this time rushing straight toward him. Chase freezes, but before he can react, something invisible seems to barrel down the stairs. He instinctively swings at the air, but nothing's there. The clip ends abruptly as he backs away, shaken, realizing his girlfriend might have been right about the house all along. The date was June the 14th of 2025. Chris decided to spend the evening at a well-known haunted forest, a place locals have claimed for years is filled with restless spirits. Armed with his ghost interaction device, he began exploring deep within the trees until he stumbled upon something eerie, an old grave marker for two people right in the center of the forest.
Hi, Jonathan. Hi, buddy. It's nice to talk to you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. It just said Jonathan, bombings 1920s. You are amazing. Mortuary. Right. It just said right. And that's John. I mean, you would think if his full name was Jonathan, they put Jonathan, right? But it just said Jonathan, bombings 1920s, right. And Nightmare. Lifetime. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. That's wild, bro. Wild. We've been so connected lately. I don't know what it is, man. Whoa, 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 whoa.
As he asks questions through the device, the faint shape of a white wisp can be seen gliding behind the grave, moving slowly through the darkness before fading away. Chris continues speaking calmly, asking if anyone is there with him, and then the device suddenly responds with two clear words: "You're amazing." The moment leaves him speechless. Whether it was meant as kindness or mockery, it confirmed that something out there was definitely aware of him and listening. Who knows if it was one of the men who appeared on the grave. Filming from her bed late at night, a woman in Houston began recording her closet after claiming it had opened on its own just a few minutes earlier. She had recently gotten up, closed it, and returned to bed, but she decided to start filming in case it happened again. The room was quiet, the only sound being the faint hum of the air conditioner as she kept the camera pointed steadily at the door. What happened next was bizarre.
The door opened up a few minutes ago, so while I was laying down, so we're going to see if it's going to open again. I closed it and got back in the bed, and hopefully it is shut for tonight. I just end up getting out my bed a minute ago and shutting it, so let's see. Looky. I'm in my bed, and there she goes. So I'm gonna have to end up putting a towel in it, or she's gonna keep opening it up all night. But I'm in my bed, as you can see. It's opening up again by itself.
After several tense seconds, the closet door slowly begins to pull open by itself, creaking just slightly as it moves. She gasps softly, but doesn't move, frozen as the door comes to a stop. No one else is visible in the frame, and there's no sign of a draft or string pulling it. After this, she said she's been trying to move out of the apartment entirely, convinced that whatever is in that Houston apartment doesn't want her to stay, and she would be a fool not to listen to the signs. The following footage is grainy and hard to make out, clearly filmed on an older camera, but what it captures is enough to send chills down your spine. Paul, a ghost hunter who often explores haunted places alone, was walking through a wooded area at night, with only the faint beam of his camera's built-in torch lighting the way. The crunching of leaves under his feet is constant as he scans the trees, narrating quietly to himself. Then, out of nowhere, something insane happens, so have a look.
Where's it gone? There was something there. Sure I saw something. Where is it? It was around here somewhere. It was here somewhere, but it's gone. I don't know where it is.
Out of seemingly nowhere, a white, human-like figure glides across the frame just ahead of him, its movement smooth and unnatural, almost floating rather than walking. Paul immediately swings the camera around, calling out into the darkness, but whatever it was is already gone. He searches the surrounding area, panning the light through the trees and undergrowth, but there's nothing there. No noise, no footprints, no sign of anyone else. For someone who spent years chasing the paranormal, even Paul admitted afterward that this one left him completely rattled. Who knows if he will ever spot something so clear again. The Ogden paranormal team had decided to spend the night investigating a notoriously haunted location known as Asylum 49, a place long rumored to be one of the most active spots in the state. During one part of the investigation, two members of the team, a man and a woman, were sitting quietly in a dimly lit room, waiting to see if anything would happen, while the rest of the group monitored from another area. This is what happened.
Notice that?
Yeah, it's scary.
It started off back there and now it's right here.
For a while, everything was completely still, the only sound being the faint hum of their equipment. Then, out of nowhere, soft noises began echoing from behind them, like distant shuffling or something moving just out of view. They both freeze, exchanging nervous glances before slowly turning around at the same time. The camera pans with them, and the place is empty, completely void of movement, yet the sound continues for another second before fading into silence again. No one else was near that room, and the team later confirmed through their static cameras that nobody had entered or left during that time, making this one of the eeriest moments from their night inside Asylum 49. a young family captured a moment that started off completely normal, but quickly took a strange turn. The clip begins with the grandmother arriving at the house, greeting her daughter-grandson at the door. The mom cheerfully asks her son if he wants to go to grandma's, and he immediately lights up with excitement, nodding and running toward the front yard. Things are wholesome until they become odd.
You ready to go, Grandma's? Come on. Let's go.
I want you.
She's got cups. Okay. Yeah.
Dada! I'm just hanging me. Daddy hanging me.
Oh, wait.
What?
Okay. Ooh, come on, Clarence. Okay.
What, Daddy?
That's what I was just about to ask. What did you say, bud? Did you say bye to?
Bye. I said bye, Daddy.
Oh, okay.
As he walks to the right, his tone suddenly changes. He stops, looks into the distance, and quietly says, "Dada," as if he's spotted someone familiar. The mom looks a little confused, since the boy's father wasn't home due to him passing away 8 years ago, but the child seems completely certain, even waving and saying "Bye, Dada," before turning back toward the car. The family later checked the footage again, and though nothing visible appears where the boy was looking, his reaction and tone were unmistakably genuine, leaving everyone wondering who or what he actually saw that day. Luke had set up a small camera to keep an eye on his cat while he was out, but what the footage ended up showing was far from what he expected. Everything seems perfectly normal at first, just a quiet kitchen with his cat lounging. Then, things start to get strange. The lamp beside the sofa suddenly flickers on, glowing unusually bright before shutting off again, then turning back on a few seconds later. It repeats this several times, almost like someone's playing with the switch, except Luke wasn't home. As the light flashes, a teddy sitting nearby begins to subtly move, its arm shifting just slightly, before an ornament placed next to it falls over completely. The cat notices immediately, jumping up and walking closer to investigate, as the lamp turns off one final time. After that, everything stops. The room goes still again, silent and undisturbed, as if nothing had ever happened. In this next clip, a woman follows her cat into a room after hearing faint children's music playing from inside, which immediately strikes her as odd, since no toys had been turned on. It's the playroom, filled with her child's things, and the cat seems unusually curious, walking straight toward the curtains near the window. As she steps in behind the car, she notices something strange. The legs of a bear plushie beneath the curtain are subtly moving back and forth, almost like they're kicking. She walks closer, trying to make sense of what she's seeing, and then pulls the curtain aside to reveal the toy lying still on the floor. It's not moving at all now. Thinking maybe she imagined it, she starts walking away, only for the bear to shift slightly again, just an inch, completely on its own. She immediately pulls it back and shows behind it with her camera, proving that nothing and no one is there. In the aftermath, she admitted the incident left her too unsettled to keep it, and decided to list the toy online to sell it. A man who had been struggling with strange activity in his home for months finally decided to bring in a medium for answers. After walking through the property, the medium explained that the disturbances were being caused by a haunted object he unknowingly kept in his possession. The problem was, he had no idea what that object could be, and despite searching, he never managed to identify it.
You've been warned. You wanted ghost videos, here they are. In this video, it's at night when he was sleeping and he caught it on his inside living room camera. He lives alone and has started to get poltergeists. And the mediums that he had come in said it's because he has something in his possession that's haunted, but he has no idea what it is and he can't find it. So this is the first of several videos.
On one of his security cameras inside the house, 2 orbs of light can be seen drifting across the room before a nearby door creaks open on its own. Moments later, something even more unsettling appears, a dark mist crawling briefly along the floor before vanishing. The footage left him more unsettled than ever, and without knowing which item was to blame, he feared the activity would only continue. The very next day, after capturing the orbs and the dark mist, the man thought things might calm down, but instead they escalated. Late in the evening, he heard the distinct sound of purring outside his bedroom, assuming it was his cat. Calling its name several times, he grew uneasy when the animal never appeared. Wanting to document what was happening, he pulled out his camera.
Man, you guys really like ghost videos, huh? Holy shit. Just a little caveat, I am not the forefront leader in all things ghost videos. My brother has a few scary videos I thought I'd post. I am not going to be the person you go to for ghost content. With that said, I do have a few more. Here's another video.
Felix. Felix.
As he approached the door ahead of him, a shadowy figure could be seen lingering in the small crack where the door met the frame. The sight made his breathing quicken, and after a few tense moments, the door suddenly swung shut on its own, with the shadow shifting out of view as it did. This moment left him shaken, especially since the purring sounded so similar to his actual cat, and his cat never returned to that hallway. Before this unsettling cat clip even took place though, the man had actually experienced something just as disturbing. Earlier that same night, he noticed a strange reflection shifting outside his room, almost like a figure was standing there in the dim light. Gripped by unease, he quickly snapped a photograph, unsure of what he would capture. When he looked at the picture, his heart sank.
Ghost, ghost, and more ghost. I gotcha. I have a few more videos. I love that everybody is so involved and into all of the different videos and hauntings of my brother's apartment. I've set this one up because it's pictures, so before I get all of the comments of this is fake, it's not. I don't have enough time on my hands to try to fake this. Neither does my brother. So I try to set it up pretty well. I have one more video after this, and then they'll start trickling in slowly because he doesn't get haunted on an hourly basis. So let me know what you think of this one. This one actually freaked me out more than all of the videos, and the videos were pretty fucking freaky. So here you go.
Felix.
The photo clearly showed the outline of a shadow figure standing just outside his room on the stairs that clearly couldn't be stood on, its shape warped and unnatural against the hallway wall. He described the image as one of the most frightening things he had ever seen, because unlike a fleeting video clip, a photograph meant the figure had been truly present, caught in that exact moment in terrifying clarity. After that chilling photograph, the house fell eerily quiet for a few days. No knocks, no shadows, no strange sounds in the night. For a brief moment, the man began to hope that whatever presence had been tormenting him was finally gone. But deep down, the silence didn't bring comfort, but it only made him more anxious, like the calm before a storm. Every creak of the floorboards or hum of the pipes kept him on edge, waiting for the next unexplainable moment to shatter the fragile peace. The uneasy calm didn't last. One day, while he was working quietly at home, the peace finally broke.
You guys want more? All right, here's ghost video number 2. For those that are joining, my brother's house is haunted. He lives by himself. He's been haunted for a few years now, actually, and it's all because a medium once told him he has an item in his house that is possessed and or haunted, and until he gets rid of that, the hauntings are going to continue. So until he figures out what that item is, because he has no idea, we're going to keep getting these videos, and I'll keep posting them because everyone seems to like them, and they freak me the hell out. So here's number 2.
A camera positioned in the top corner of the room caught the bathroom lights slowly turning themselves off and then back on again, as though someone unseen was playing with the switch. Before he even had time to process it, a door from across the house slammed shut with such force that it echoed through the rooms, making him jump out of his chair. The suddenness of it all left him shaken, and it became clear the haunting hadn't ended. It was only biding its time. Bruno had always cherished a small toy skateboard that sat proudly on the kitchen table, a gift from his grandfather before he passed away. That night, while idly playing with it, he suddenly felt the strange urge to start filming, as if something inside him knew something was about to happen.
¡Bruno! ¡Bruno! Se movió la silla.
¿Leal?
Sí.
Era Jorge.
Tipo, es de arquitecta.
De la Jorge.
As the camera rolled, the chair adjacent to him suddenly slid back from the table all on its own, the scraping sound sending chills through the air. Terrified, Bruno immediately bolted to find his brother, and the two returned cautiously to the kitchen to see what had happened. Just as they stepped inside, the door to the room slammed shut with such force it shook the frame. The brothers were left frozen, staring at each other in disbelief. Afterwards, Bruno admitted he couldn't shake the feeling that his grandfather's presence might somehow be tied to the event, though whether it was a warning, a sign, or something darker, he wasn't sure. A group of friends were sitting around together, just enjoying a relaxed conversation with no tension in the air. No odd vibes, just the usual banter you'd expect on a quiet night. Everything felt perfectly normal until a sudden bang came from the cupboard nearby. Curious rather than alarmed, one of them pulled out her phone to film.
Ada suara. Ada suara.
Gue takut nih. Gimana ini balikinnya?
Angin kali.
Enggak ada. Kosong coy.
The camera caught one of the cupboard doors slowly creaking open on its own, making everyone go silent for a moment. The woman holding the camera cautiously stepped closer to check, but as soon as she peeked inside, she jumped back in fear, letting out a sharp gasp. Whatever she saw wasn't clear on camera, leaving only the sound of her reaction to go by. Tell me in the comments if you can make out what scared her. Esther had gone to her father's grave on the 5th anniversary of his passing, just as she did every year. She always made sure to clean up around the headstone, refill the plant pot, and spend some quiet moments reflecting. But on this particular visit, something strange unfolded.
Digo, aquí no hay aire. Una pequeña tumba donde tuve un reilete que tira. Sigo insistiendo, yo pedí quien quisiera, con todo el respeto, de mí hacia ellos y de ellos hacia mí, obviamente. He visto 3 reiletes distintos que giren. No hay aire. Sigo insistiendo, hay mínimo aire como para que el reilete gire de esta manera. Lo ilógico es que gire reiletes y hasta apenas inicia a moverse. No hay aire. Miren, ahí hay unas plantas. No se alcanzan a ver que no hay movimiento de las plantas. Pero aquí, sin embargo, hay un reilete. Aquí estoy. Ya paro en automático. Voy a girar. Para eso me acerco y cuando gira, este pequeño reilete. Voy a intentar leer su nombre. Creo que no logro distinguir bien su nombre, pero aquí está el reilete girando. Lo curioso es que justo ahora que hay un poco de aire, cuando hay un poco de aire se para. ¿Ya fijaste? El otro es completamente estático, no es broma, vean. Voy a retirarme para que vean. No, ahorita va a girar. Está estático. Le voy a pedir. Ay, Dios, no puedo leer tu nombre porque no quiero mover tus reiletes. Pero muéveme uno. Puedes moverme los dos, te lo voy a agradecer. Eso lo extraño. Solo uno mueve y el otro no. Sí, va. Solo alcanzó a distinguir bien Estrada. Voy a parar un poco el video.
Sitting on the grave were 2 wind spinners side by side. Despite there being no wind at all, only one of them began to spin slowly and steadily, while the other remained completely still. The odd contrast made the moment feel eerie, almost as if it were deliberate. Esther couldn't help but wonder if it was her father reaching out to her in some subtle way, a small sign of communication from beyond. A ghost hunter had been hired to investigate an old house with a reputation for being haunted, and although he'd been skeptical at first, he was willing to take the job for the payout. For the first stretch of his exploration, the place seemed quiet. nothing more than creaky floors and dusty rooms. But just as he was starting to think it was going to be a wasted trip, something chilling unfolded. After searching room to room for a few minutes, he suddenly stumbled upon a child's rocking horse in one of the corners, moving back and forth as if an invisible child were sitting on it. The sight froze him in place, the steady motion far too deliberate to be explained by air or movement. He whispered nervously to himself, backing away slowly, before finally turning and walking off in fear, not daring to stay in that room any longer. Ragalzu had always carried a strange fear of the school he once attended. Even as a child, he felt that something darker than old brick walls and dusty hallways lingered within. The stories passed around about eerie noises, shadows, and even students claiming to have seen figures only deepened his suspicion. Now, years later, he decided to return with a camera in hand, determined to prove that the feelings.
Y aquí en la escuela cuando empiezan a ladrar los perros así a llorar. Visto. Ahí empieza a joder, como a golpear. Todas las noches hace lo mismo. ¿Qué pasa? Tempranito empiezan a hinchar las pelotas.
As he stayed stationary, staring at the deserted corridor ahead, the silence was broken by dogs howling outside, their cries echoing unnaturally through the building. It set him on edge, and almost immediately after, the door ahead began to rattle violently. The shaking grew louder and more aggressive until, without warning, the door flung itself wide open. Ragalzu cautiously stepped forward and found only a bathroom beyond, empty and still. The fear set in heavy at that moment, and he admitted later that he felt something unseen had been watching him. The thought that a spirit might follow him home became overwhelming, and from that day on, he vowed never to step foot in that school again. Crisella Luna is well known for taking her audience into places most people wouldn't dare to go, and this time she set her sights on the infamous Hotel Posada del Sol in Mexico City. Locals warn against entering, especially at night, claiming the energy inside is too heavy to handle. In her own words, even retrieving the footage was difficult, as though the hotel itself resisted letting it be shared. She pushed forward anyway, determined to show her viewers what she found.
Ay, no. De verdad me siento perdida. Escucha, 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 escucha. Por acá, por acá, por acá, por acá, por acá. Vamos a ver qué hay. Está escuchando, está escuchando. Ay, ¿dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás?
At 9 minutes and 47 seconds into the recording, while exploring one of the endless, decaying hallways, Crizel suddenly caught sight of what looked like a shadowy figure standing at the far end. Just before this, an odd, unsettling noise echoed through the corridor, sending chills down her spine. The moment her eyes locked on the figure, she spun around and bolted, her fear captured raw on camera. She later admitted that this was one of the strongest encounters she had ever experienced, and for many viewers, it cemented Hotel Posada del Sol's reputation as one of the most terrifying places she had ever visited. Subscribe so you don't miss her next appearance in my videos. Ranim was out walking her dog in a massive national park, enjoying the peace and quiet of being surrounded by nothing but nature. The paths were empty, and she hadn't seen another soul the entire time. At one point, to break the silence, she even joked to herself, "Imagine someone started chasing me." That's when things took a terrifying turn.
Somebody's chasing me down.
She turned her camera behind her, and in the distance, a tall, black, Slenderman-like figure stood clearly in view. Her voice shook as she said something was chasing her, the fear evident as she kept glancing back while trying to stay calm for her dog. The figure lingered unnervingly far down the trail, but it was enough to make her heart race. Luckily, Ranim managed to finish the walk safely, but the footage left everyone unsettled, wondering what exactly it was she had seen out there in the isolation of the park.